Hello students, welcome to Grade Up. Very good evening to all of you. So, let me see how many of you are present there. So, in the last session we have, yes, good evening Prashant. Very good evening. So, in the previous session we have already discussed about the topic syllogisms. Okay, and today's session is about dice and cube, and dice and cube, this topic is divided in two parts. So this is the first part of dice and cube, in which we will discuss about the questions of dice only. Okay, so to solve the question of dice, we should know about the basic concept first of all. For that, you need to understand what categories of question are asked in the examination, what is the main layout of the question. So student, whatever kind of question is there, whether it is taken from the standard dice or from the open dice or from the general dice, or maybe it can be the combination of open and general dice. So you need to understand one simple point, students. Whatever question we are solving, we are going to find out the opposite pair first of all. That is our core work for any question of dice. Yes, very good evening Vijay, Vishal, V and everyone. Fine. So before starting the question, I just want to make you clear some basic concept one by one, because we will start the question of standard dice. So for that matter, first of all, I will make you understand what is the meaning of standard dice, what is the basic concept, then we will understand the things with question. Okay. So first, the very basic point we will discuss. So let's consider in the room you are sitting. If you check out, there are 6 surfaces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 different and the back. So overall 6 walls are there in this room, and we can consider this room as a dice only, right? So if I asked you student, the wall which is exactly in front of you people, if you check out one thing student, you can say that in front the wall which is in front of us is connected with the 4 walls, right? The upper, the bottom, the left and the right. So we can say simple basic concept for the front wall, that 4 are the neighbors and this back side is the opposite of this front wall, right? So here we are having one simple concept that two opposite surfaces cannot be the adjacent of each other. Okay, yes Vijay, this is the live session in the platform, and I hope you can understand what I am trying to say, what I am having the things in the session. So just focus on the question. Yes, very good evening all of you, right? So what I was saying, that in the room we are sitting, the top and the bottom are opposite of each other, or we can say the front or the back are the opposite of each other. So the front wall is connected with 4 walls, the top, the bottom, the left and the right. So these 4 are the adjacent of that particular wall, and this back side is the opposite of that one. So I am having one simple concept that two opposite surfaces cannot be the adjacent of each other. For example, I have taken one dice. This is one dice in which we have written 2, 3 and 4. So we can say that 2, 3 and 4 are the neighbors of each other, and these numbers like 2, 3 and 4 cannot be the opposite of each other. That's the very first point. Now the next point is, if we are going to find out the opposite pair, we need to divide the different, we need to categorize the dice first of all. Yes, very good evening all of you. Student, let's focus on the concept part, okay? So if I ask you how many types of dice are there, we are having the simple answer that we are having 3 types of dice. The very first is standard dice, second is general, the third is open dice. So we will discuss one by one, starting from the standard dice. No Prashant, we are not discussing about that. So let's focus on the question, okay? Anyhow, so these are the 3 types of dices. First of all, I will make you understand what is standard, what is general and what is open, and finally we will have one combination, that one question which is which we can solve with the help of general and open dice, okay? So as we can see, the name standard itself is more than enough to define this category, right? Standard means something which cannot vary, okay, which will universally remain same. So that kind of dice is exactly that dice which we have seen already in the indoor game Ludo, right? So you have noticed this point definitely, that 6 is always the opposite of 1, as we know that in a single dice we are having 6 surface. So these 6 surface can be numbers 1 to 6, can be dots 1 dot, 2 dot to 6 dot, can be alphabet A to F, can be some symbols, okay? सी स्टूडेंट, हिंदी लैंग्वेज में भी हमारा सेशन है, बट हमने ऑलरेडी सेशंस को 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया है, ये इंग्लिश मीडियम और दूसरा हमारा हिंदी मीडियम का. तो जब आपका हिंदी मीडियम का सेशन होगा आपको सारी इंफॉर्मेशन हिंदी में मिलेगी, बट दिस टाइम बिकॉज दिस इज इंग्लिश मीडियम सेशन, सो आई विल डिस्कस एवरीथिंग इन इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज ओनली. ओके, सो as I told you about the standard dice, we have noticed that 6 is always the opposite of 1, 2 is always the opposite of 5, and 3 is opposite of 4. So as I told you earlier student, that whenever we are solving the question of a standard dice, we always wanted to find out the opposite pair. But as I said that below given dice is a standard dice, so we have already the opposite pair, right? That is 1 and 6, 2 and 5, and 3 and 4. There is one more common rule that you can check out if you can, that is whenever we add the opposite pair, I have always sum as 7. So for this category of question, student will always have one thing written in the top, that below given dice is a standard dice either, or there should be one simple line that in the given dice the sum of two opposite is always equal to 7. If this is written, in that case you will apply the rule of standard dice, that is 1 and 6 are opposite pair, 2 and 5 are the opposite pair, and 3 and 4 are the opposite pair. Fine. Yes, Krishna, if there is any problem you can refresh it once again, because from our side there is nothing problematic, so you can just refresh it once again. And I am telling you student, the student who are very focused in learning, please attend class and be focused and targeted. Otherwise, who are here just to waste their time can leave the class immediately. I don't want anybody who is behaving like a pollutant. Okay, so coming to the first question, student, can we read the directions first of all? Come to the question, student, don't waste your time. So what is given here in this starting? The direction is, see Hina, as we know that in standard dice 1 and 6 are opposite, so if you add 1 and 6, 1 plus 6, this is equal to 7. 2 and 5 are the opposite, so 2 plus 5, this is again equal to 7. 3 and 4 are the opposite, 3 and 4 is always equal to 7. So I can say for a standard dice the sum of two opposite is always equal to 7. Okay, yes GK, this topic is already included in your syllabus. I checked out that some of the students were asking me that dice and cube, is this topic is in the syllabus or not? So I am telling you that non-verbal section sometimes include this topic, dice and cube. Okay, fine student, fine Shubham. So these are the things for standard dice. Now coming to the question, we have given the sum of opposite surface of each dice given below is 7 and the numbers of the top surface are missing. Right? So as we know that all the top surface from 1 to 6 are missing, so we can do one thing student, we can find out the probable answer for the top surfaces, right? As I can say that in dice number 1 we have given 2 and 1, so definitely the opposite of 2 is 5, which will not come on the top surface, as we know that opposite cannot be the neighbors, right? Yes, of course it is. Now the second is we have given number 1, so 1 and 6 are the opposite pair, so it's quite confirmed that 6 will not come on the top one. So I am having two choices for dice number 1, for the top surface or for the bottom surface, that is it will be either 3 or 4. That's the simple point. Now coming to the second dice, Okay, for second dice, student, we are having two numerical values already given, 4 and 2. As we know that 4 and 3 are opposite, so 3 will not come on the top. Okay, 2 is also given there, so 2 and 5 are opposite pair, 5 will not come on the top. So which number I can expect on the top is either 1 or maybe it is 6. Okay, now coming to dice number 3. In dice number 3, we have given 5 and 1. Okay, Nisha, I will check out your answer is right or wrong. That's really good that you are solving the question. Fine. So in dice number 3, we have given 5 and 1. I know that 2 and 5 are the opposite pair. 2 will not come on the top. 1 and 6 are the opposite pair, so 6 will not come at all on the top. So what I can say, the probable answer for the top surface is maybe 3 or 4. Now I need to check out the condition which is given in question number 1. I have just written the top surface, the probable top surface for dice 1, 2 and 3. The reason is very simple. We have given if dice 1, 2 and 3 have even numbers at the bottom surface, then what is the sum of the numbers at the top surface? You need to find out the sum of top surface, right, students? But for that matter, I need to understand which number will come on the top. So for that, we have given the condition itself that the bottom is even numbered. So you know, student, that top and bottom are the opposite pair. So if bottom is even numbered, the remaining opposite will come on the top. Correct? So 3 and 4, 4 is even, 4 will be in the bottom. So definitely top will be 3 for the dice number 1. Correct? For dice number 2, 6 is even, it will go in the bottom, top will be 1. A third one, 4 will be in the bottom number because it is even, so it is 3. So you just need to add the values. 3 plus 1 plus 3, the answer is 7, which is absolutely correct answer. Okay, yes, please tell me what is your issue. Maybe you have not attended the session from the starting, from the beginning, I think. रमेश और एक स्टूडेंट और मुझे हिंदी बार बार लिख रहे हो आप लोग। स्टूडेंट देखो, मैं आपको एक सिंपल बात बताती हूँ। मैं समझती हूँ इस बात को कि हमारे लिए जो प्रेफरेबल लैंग्वेज है हम उसे आसानी से समझ पाते हैं और उसी में हम ज्यादा चीजों को सॉल्व भी कर पाते हैं, राइट। लेकिन पॉइंट ये है कि कुछ स्टूडेंट हिंदी मीडियम के हैं, कुछ इंग्लिश मीडियम के स्टूडेंट हैं, तो हमने सेशंस को उसी अकॉर्डिंगली डिवाइड किया है। दिस सेशन इज फॉर दोज स्टूडेंट हु आर कंफर्टेबल इन इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज। जो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में कंफर्टेबल है ये उनके लिए है। जिन स्टूडेंट को हिंदी में चाहिए उनके लिए अलग से सेशन हिंदी में ही होगा। ओके रमेश, वहां पे इंग्लिश का कोई पॉइंट हम यूज नहीं करेंगे। फाइन। सॉरी, यस अन्वेश, व्हाट इज योर क्वेश्चन? Why 6 figures are given? Maybe some of the question are for dice number 4, 5 and 6. I am repeating once again because this was the question of standard dice. The very first line is the sum of the two opposite always equal to 7, right? So we know that if we have given in dice number 1, 2 and 1, right? So the opposite of 2 is 5 and the opposite of 1 is 6. So top number will not be 5 and 6. It is either 3 and 4. As you have given the condition, the bottom is even numbered. So if bottom is even numbered, 4 will come in the bottom and opposite will remain as 3. The same is applicable for second and third. As we need to understand, we have given the sum of the numbers. So we just add and that's our answer. Let's check out the next question, student. It is once again the same category of question. If some of the students were not able to understand the first one, I will explain the second one. It will make you understand the things in a very simple manner. Please read the question clearly. Please read it, student, first of all. What is given? So the very first point, how do we know that any dice is standard dice? Yes, Sunny, so Sairam has already given you the answer. For any standard dice, either the simple line is written that below given dice is a standard dice, or maybe there is another line that the sum of two opposite surface is equal to 7. Okay? So if you check out the first line mentioned in the direction, it is the sum of opposite surface of each dice given below is 7 and the numbers of the top surface are missing. It makes you clear the thing that the given dice are standard dice. Okay, Vaibhav, I am explaining the basic 2 here for this category of question. So once this line is given that sum of opposites is equal to 7, it means it is a standard dice, and it is quite clear that opposite of 1 will be 6, opposite of 2 will be 5, opposite of 3 will be 4. These are the 3 points for any standard dice. Okay. We are having one more rule. That is, 2 opposite cannot be the adjacent pair. Fine. Now what is the question exactly is giving you the clue that if both the dices consist of odd numbers, that means you need to find out those 2 dices having odd numbers only. So if I check out dice number 1, it is 2 and 1. So you can see that 2 is even number. So both the numbers mentioned here are not the odd number. So this is ruled out. Okay. Coming to dice number 2, we have 4 and 2, and both the numbers 4 and 2 are even numbers. We are going to find out that dice having both odd numbers. So this is again ruled out. If we come to next one, it is dice number 3 having numbers 5 and 1, and if you check out the thing, both the numbers 5 and 1 both are odd numbers. So the first noticeable is dice number 3, which is given like this. Here it is 5 and next is 1. Then now the next is 4th is having 2 and 4, both are even. 5th is having 2, which is even again. Now 6th is having 3 and 5, which is again odd. So now out of 6 dices, we are having 2 dice, dice number 3 and dice number 6, containing both the odd numbers like this. Okay. Now the next point is your work is find out the sum of the numbers of the top surface. You need to find out the sum of these top surface. But first of all, I need to understand which number will come on the top. So as you know, student, that the opposite of 5 is 2, and opposite cannot be the neighbor, and opposite of 1 is 6. So here I cannot fix either 2 or 6. The possibility is either 3 or 4 will come here in this position, right? In the next dice, the opposite of 3 is 4, because these 2 dice are the standard dice, and the opposite of 5 is 2. So the probability for the top surface is either 1 or 6. Now I can fill it with according to the condition which is given in your question. So what condition is given there? You have given if both the dice consist of odd number, have odd numbers at the bottom. So bottom should be odd numbered. If bottom is odd number, the top will be definitely even numbered, the remaining opposite. So you can see that 3 and 4, number 3 is odd number. This number 3 will go on in the bottom, top will be 4 only. Okay, 1 and 6 are the possibility for the second one. Okay, so 1 is odd, it will go on the bottom, and top will remain as 6. So the question was to find out the addition of these two. 4 plus 6, this is equal to 10, which is the right answer. So Nisha, your answer, Nisha, Sunny and Ritesh, Sonu, your answer is absolutely correct. Okay guys, coming to the next question. Yes, here it is. Please read it and try to solve this question. Let me know the correct answer for next question, that is question number 3rd. These 3 questions were for the standard dice, and before moving to the next question, that is of course of general dice, we'll discuss some basic concept first of all. Fine. So I am adding one line, simple line here I have not written. Below given dice is, okay, this is mentioned already. Below given dice is a standard dice. As mentioned in the line that given dice is a standard dice, I can say the opposite of 1 is 6, opposite of 2 is definitely 5, and opposite of 3 is definitely 4. These are the opposite pair because it is mentioned clearly that given dice is a standard dice. Okay. Yes, your question is how 3 and 6 is picked. See, you know that opposite pair is clear to you, to everybody. I hope it is clear, because I am telling you once again, I am emphasizing in this point, student, again and again, that whenever this line is mentioned that given dice is standard dice either, or the sum of opposite is equal to 7, you need to understand that these 3 are the opposite pair. The second rule is opposite cannot be the adjacent. Fine. Now in this question, this is the cube or dice, I can say. 3 is written here. These 2 are the blanks. I need to fill it. So what information I am having? So many answers are there. All right, guys. So many answers are there. Now coming to the point, I know that opposite of 3 is 4. The reason is very simple. This dice is a standard dice. So the next point that I gave you the example of this room only, where you people are sitting, that the front and back, these two walls are opposite and will not be the adjacent. In the similar way, if 4 is opposite, 4 will not come in any of the position. So definitely option A will be ruled out because 4 is mentioned here, right? Now coming to next option, option B, we have mentioned 2 and 5, right? We know that 2 and 5 both are not the opposite of 3, but 2 and 5, these two are opposite of each other. So these two numbers cannot come exactly at this same point, right? So definitely option B again cancelled out. Coming to next option, third one. In the third option we have given 1 and 6. 1 and 6 are not the opposite of 3, but these two numbers are opposite of each other. So definitely these two cannot come together. Alone can come but not come together in the same position, because our opposite should not be adjacent. So definitely option D is the right answer. The reason is very simple. 2 and 1 are not the opposite of 3, nor they are the opposite of each other. So the right answer is option D. Yes guys, your answer is perfectly correct. Okay, so this was the introduction about the standard dice, and let me make you one more important thing about the let me make you clear the things, student, about this topic. The most important area of dice is general dice and open dice, because a standard dice itself is more than enough to make you understand the opposite pair. So when we have the line given that it is a standard dice, we can understand all the opposite pair, right? So the questions are given in this way as I have given you. Now we want to discuss about general dice. So let me make you clear. First of all, for general dice, the things are given like this. 4 position of a dice are given. What is the opposite of 3? Fine. So for that matter, I am giving you one simple example first of all. For example, I am having 2 dices. Let's say like this. It is 3, 4 and 1. This is 3, 6 and 2. Okay. So if I asked you, because these are the 2 position of a single dice, so if I asked you to find out the opposite of 3, maybe it is very simple for everybody to find out. The reason is very clear, that number 3 is having 4 adjacent pair, and 4 adjacents are there, 4 neighbors are there, and all the 4 adjacents are clearly visible in the diagrams. So if I am writing 3 here, I can see with the help of dice number 1, 4 and 1 are the adjacent, cannot be the opposite of 3. With the help of dice number 2, the second position of the given dice, 6 and 2 are at the adjacent position. So definitely 6 and 2 cannot be the opposite of 3. So you know that 4 are adjacent for a single surface and all 4 are mentioned clearly. So I can write the opposite of 3, which is not 4, not 1, nor 6, not 2. So obviously it is number 5. So it is very simple to find out the opposite of 3 in this way. But the point is, this way is not at all applicable for all the questions. The reason is very simple, student. If I asked you the same thing to find out the opposite of 1 with the help of the same rule, you will say that for number 1, 3 and 4 are the adjacent, cannot be opposite of 1. But what about the next 2 adjacent? I don't know. So I don't know about the opposite. So this rule is not working uniformly, right? So what I will do, we are having 2 things to understand. Whenever we are solving the question of dice, we will first of all notice, is there any 2 position of dice given in which one surface is in common? That's our first point. Prashant, this is not the standard dice. This question is not of a standard dice. This is generally written that below 2 position of a dice are given. Okay, it's general dice. Fine. So what I can do, I am having 2 rules, student. Number 1, the very first point I will notice, any 2 position of dice in which there is one surface in common. Okay, so if I am going to analyze the question with the help of one surface common rule, we should know this thing too, that the common number should be in the same position. So what I am doing, I am fixing the common number in the same position for both the position dice number 1 and dice number 2. Now after fixing the common number, what I am doing, I am moving in the clockwise direction for both the dices. For first one, moving towards clockwise direction, I am having 4. Then next it is 1. Starting from 3, next is 4, next is 1. Moving in the clockwise direction after fixing the common surface. Okay. For the second one, after fixing the 3 and moving in the clockwise direction, I am first having 6 and secondly I am having 2. So after doing this method, you can do one thing, that numbers written in front of each other are the opposite of each other. Okay, 1 and 2 are opposite pair, 4 and 6 are the opposite pair, definitely 3 is not the opposite of 3. So the remaining one which is not visible yet is number 5, opposite of 3. Is this clear to everybody? It is a very simple rule, student. Please focus on this. What you people will do, first of all, select any two position of that dice in which there is one surface is in common. As I check out there, number 3 is in common. I fix number 3 and after fixing 3, I am moving in clockwise direction. So after 3 in clockwise direction, I am having 4 and next is 1 for dice 1. In the second one, after fixing 3 and moving in clockwise direction, I am having 6 and 2. So the numbers written in front are the opposite pair. It's okay. I hope this is clear to everybody. Now this was the first rule. But now what is second rule? So before starting the second rule, student, it was our method. We decided that we will select any two position of dice in which there is one surface common. Right, but it is choice of examiner that what category of question he or she has given to you people. Right, in that case, situation, if we check out the condition, how many surface can be common? It can be 1 or it can be 2. So let's check out if the condition of 2 surface common is given there. Let's take one example before moving towards the next question. So here I am having 2 dice given. Let's suppose it is 2, 3, 1. Okay, and let's say it is 2, 3, 4. Fine. Now I want to find out the opposite of any number. For example, 2, 3 or 4. Okay, so the point is, when we are solving the question with the help of common surface, we always focus on this point. The number is 1 which is in common, or the numbers are 2 which is in common. So if you check out, we are having 2 surface in common. So I need to apply 2 surface common rule. So as you know that 2 and 3 are common, so I am writing 2 with 2, 3 with 3. First of all, we will fix the common numbers and then we'll write the remaining one. For one surface, we'll move in clockwise direction. Okay. For 2 surface common, we just fix both. Okay. So after fixing 2 and 3, we can notice the remaining one is 1, number 1 only. Okay. And in the another one, we have 4 only. So opposite of 1 is 4. Chandan, I will come to your point also. Virendra and Vikas. So no student, I am from India only. Okay, you people too. और ये जो हमारा सेशन है ये ऑलरेडी कम्युनिकेटेड है कि इंग्लिश मीडियम में है. अगर आपको इसका हिंदी वर्जन चाहिए तो हम आपको हिंदी वर्जन में सेशंस देंगे, क्योंकि दोनों आरआरबी जेईई की क्लासेस इंग्लिश और हिंदी अलग अलग मीडियम में अलग अलग लैंग्वेज में है, जैसे कि स्टूडेंट को कंफर्टेबल है. ठीक है, तो रादर देन इस बात को लेकर के आप टाइम वेस्ट करो अपना भी और औरों का भी. अगर आपको बात समझ आ रही है तो आप सेशन कंटिन्यू करो. आई थिंक इतना ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं लिखा. और अगर आपको इसमें प्रॉब्लम लगती है स्टूडेंट, तो हम इसका जब हिंदी सेशन लेकर आएंगे तो आप उसे अटेंड करिएगा. फाइन, चलिए यहाँ पे आते हैं. तो मैंने 2, 3, 2, 3 यहाँ पे फिक्स किया था. एक बार मैं हिंदी में इस बात को बोल देती हूँ आप लोगों के लिए. 2, 3, 2, 3 मैंने यहाँ फिक्स किया. रिमेनिंग यहाँ पे 1 था, रिमेनिंग यहाँ 4 था, तो ये एक दूसरे का ऑपोजिट थे. ठीक है. सो आफ्टर फिक्सिंग दीज टू, आई एम हैविंग द ऑपोजिट ऑफ 1 एज 4. नाउ द पॉइंट इज, इफ द क्वेश्चन इज टू फाइंड आउट नंबर 2, opposite of number 2 or maybe the opposite of 3, what is our answer? Our answer is opposite of 2 is not 3, it is not 1, it is not 4. Opposite of 2 is either 5 or maybe it is 6. Okay. Secondly, if I am going to find out the opposite of 3, it is quite clear that opposite of 3 is not 1, it is not 4, it is definitely not 2. If it is 5, for number 2, it will be 6. If here you have written 6, it will be 5. That means we have one simple indication, student. We have one simple indication regarding such category of question, that whenever I am giving you the comparison, student. Now I am giving you the comparison. Yes, Atul, separately for both the medium. Okay. Now I am giving you the comparison for one surface common and two surface common. For whenever we are solving the question with the help of one surface common rule, we will always have the opposite pair for any number, for any surface, we can say. But whenever we are solving the question with the help of two surface common rule, we can definitely find out the opposite of that number which is not in common. That's the most important rule you need to understand, student. Is this clear to everybody? Are you guys okay with this? If it is, then we can move to the next question. So after completing the question of general dice, I will come to the next point. If there is nothing in common, if there are two dice only, or if there are only one single dice. Okay. So let's start with the next question. It is of general dice. Please read the question, students. First of all, read it carefully so that you can answer correctly. Okay. Ganesh, I was saying that whenever we are solving our question, see, we are having two rules now. We have fixed two rules. Sunny, I will come to that point also. But first of all, we'll complete the question which we can solve with the help of one surface common rule or two surface common rule. That after completing this, we'll come to the next one. Okay. So here we need to find out the opposite of 3. Fine. Now we are having one more important rule, that is selection of dice. That is the selection of dice. Fine. The two dice with the help of which you can solve your question, that's all your work. Maybe you can answer with the help of A and B, with the help of B or C, or maybe with the help of A or C. That means any number of position of dice are given there, but we can solve our question with the help of any two position. Now we have two preferences, student. We will always go with those two dice in which only one surface is in common. If I am moving towards two surface common rule, so I should focus the one important thing in my mind, that the number which is not common is the exact surface for which we can find out the opposite pair. Okay, so which number is opposite of 3? That's our question. So if we check out dice B and dice A, is there anything common between A and B? 1, 3, 2 and 4, 5, 6. There is nothing in common. Okay. So maybe I can solve my question with the help of second number and third number dice, student, with the help of B and C. Okay. So many answers are there. Now I am explaining the things so that you can answer correctly for the next question. Okay. So first of all, I am solving it with the help of B and C. Okay. I am having two rules, student. It is okay, Anant. I am little slow now. Okay. So with the help of B and C, maybe I can consider one surface common rule, or there can be two surface common rule. So guys, if you check out the dice number 2 and dice number 3, we have only one surface common, which is number 5. So after fixing 5 and moving in clockwise direction, if I move clockwise direction in dice number B, I have 4 and the next is 6. Similarly, in the second one, after fixing 5 and moving in clockwise direction, I have number 1 and then number 2. Now whatever the question is, I can solve it exactly. I am having opposite pair as 6, 2, opposite pair as 4, when definitely the opposite of 5 will be 3. Correct? So you can answer what is the opposite of 3. It is number 5. That is option number 3. Okay. Maybe anyone can solve it with the help of dice A and C, because it's all our work, student. We can solve it with the help of one common surface or two common surface. So if you focus in dice A and C, you can see that number 1 and 2 are in common. So after fixing 1 and 2, the remaining in dice A is 3 and the remaining in dice B is in dice C is 5. So opposite of 3 is 5. That's quite clear to understand why I am solving this, why I am applying this rule. I can apply because the question was to find out opposite of 3. 3 is not in the common, 1 and 2 are in the common. If the question was to find out the opposite of 1, I will not be able to solve it with the help of 2 surface common. Yes, I have applied. In any case, you will have the answer. I think things are clear to everybody. So here is the next question, student. Please solve this question and let me know the correct answer. Once again, the same category. The only difference is dots are given there. So, 4 positions of a dice are given. Okay, Parichay, here is the next question. Fine. 4 dots, you are going to find out the opposite of surface having 2 dots. That means we need to find out the opposite of 2. So, I can solve it with the help of 1 and 2. Can we check? In 1 and 2, I am having the common number as number 5. So, I can solve it with the help of 1 and 2 only. We can apply one surface common rule. Okay, we can apply one surface common rule in 1 and 2, student. You can see that number 4 is common here in 1 and 2. Sorry, number 5. So after fixing number 5 and moving in clockwise direction in the first dice, if you see that after fixing 5 and moving in clockwise direction, I am having 3, then 2. So this is done for dice number 1. And in dice number 2, after fixing 5 and moving in clockwise direction, I am having 4 and 6. So the question was to find out the opposite of 2 dots. Can you notice the opposite of 2 is 6, which is option D. Yes, guys, option D is the right answer. Very correct. Maybe I can solve it with the help of 1 and 3rd, maybe 2nd and 3rd, or maybe 3rd and 4th. So it's all our choice that we are solving the question with the help of one surface common rule or with the help of 2 surface common rule. So here is the next question, given in the form of symbols. So 6 surface, there can be numbers, can be dots, or can be symbols. Yes, Sairam, I will move to the open dice, but before moving towards the open dice, I will discuss about the question of general dice, in which there is only one dice given there. Fine, nothing is in common. No, Sunny, we will never check that the given dice is standard or general. See, whenever standard dice is given there, it is written clearly that below given dice is a standard dice, either or there is one simple line that the sum of the opposite pair is equal to 7. If any of these two line is given mentioned in your question, then only you will apply 1, 6, 2, 5, 3 pole opposite pair. Otherwise, generally question like this, if these things are given, in that situation you will apply the one surface or 2 surface common rule, that is general dice. Okay, Nandakishore, don't confused about the rule. See, it's all your choice to select first, second, first, third, or third, fourth, or fourth one. Fine. Your work is to apply one surface common or 2 surface. Right. So, can we check in the dice number 1 and 2, I am going to find out the opposite of a star. And if you check out the common, here I am having 2 surfaces in common. So, in 1 and 2, I can apply 2 surface common rule. Right? The reason is very clear, student. I am having common surface at like rectangle, and another is triangle. So star is not in common. Star is not in common. So can you see that I am not able to find out the opposite of this rectangle or the opposite of this triangle exactly, but I am able to find out the opposite of this star. Why so? Because whenever we are solving the question of we are solving the question of dice, and if we are not applying the rule of one surface common rule, right, and if we are applying 2 surface common rule, we should always focus on this point, that the surface for which we are going to find out the opposite should not be in the common, because for 2 surface common rule it becomes dicey to find out. See, as I have already discussed about the general dice, so just do one thing, because I have already make you understand the concept of standard and general, so I will not repeat it again this time. So just attend the session once again from the beginning, because you people are coming in exactly in the mid of the session, so that's the main problem. Okay, so that's fine, student. Let's come to the next question. Yes. See, student, what is given here? We have given 4 position of a dice. No, Anvesh, that's 2 surface common rule. There is nothing problematic. Okay, there is nothing in problem. Let's come to the next question. Fine, maybe if you're solving the question, if you're applying any other rule, maybe you can fix with the help of second and third. Even you will not be able to solve the question. You tell me with the help of which number dice you are solving the question. Okay, first and last one, both are same. First and last, both are same. The very first point. Okay, in second and third, if you check out what is given here, a star is in common and this rectangle is also in common. These are rectangles. In 1 and 2, only triangle is in common. No, student, this is, maybe you are confused because this line is completely not visible to you people. Actually, this is complete rectangle, student. This is complete rectangle. Okay, that's getting your point. That's complete rectangle. Okay. No, see, this is not just, this is complete rectangle, guys. This is complete rectangle. This one, this is complete rectangle. I'm telling you, in the first and second, and in second and third too. Right here it is. You can check out. This is complete rectangle. That's the problem, that you are considering it as a different surface, right? See, in the second and third, if you are applying in the second. Yes, student, I am getting your point. I am getting your point. That's correct one. Now you are able to understand this one. With the help of second and third, you cannot solve the question. The reason is very simple. Here is star and triangle. This rectangle, both are in common. So the opposite of triangle is cross. That's quite clear. But we will not be able to find out the question. Fine, that's all right. Let's move to the next question. Yes. So opposite of 4. Now tell me, if you are going to find out the opposite of 4, can we apply? Yes, Sairam, I have already corrected the figure. Fine. So, if I am applying the rule, maybe it is 1 surface or maybe it is 2 surface common. So, if I check out in dice number 1 or in dice number 2, here the numbers are 6, 1, 3. Here the numbers are 2, 5, 4. Means nothing is in common. So, I cannot apply any of 1 surface or 2 surface common rule. So, let's check out the next one. Fine. If you can notice, in dice 1 and dice 3, I have 2 numbers in common, 3, 1 and 3, 1. So, if I apply the 2 surface common rule in 1 and 3, what will happen? 3 with 3, 1 with 1, and I will have 6 and 5 as opposite pair, but I don't want to find out the opposite of 6 or 5. Our work is to find out the opposite of 4. So, I cannot solve the question with the help of first and third. But can I solve my question with the help of second and third, applying 1 surface common rule? Correct? So, 1 surface common in second and third, that surface is number 5. After fixing 5 and moving in clockwise direction, in the dice number second, I have 4 and next is 2. In the second one, I have 3 and next is 1. So, the opposite of 2 is 1. Correct? Opposite of 4 is 3 and definitely opposite of 5 is 6. Now, you can find out exactly the opposite of 4 is 3, which is our option number second. Very right, student. That's correct one. Now, this is the question of open dice, but before coming to open dice, I just wanted to give you one more example of general dice. Let us check out the category. Let's suppose in our examination, there is only 1 dice given. And the dice can be like this, student. Maybe it is 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is one question and this is another question. Or maybe it is 1, 6 and 5. Fine. This is one next example. After completing this, we'll move to the open dice. So I am having 2 different questions and only, yes, I am repeating, Anil. Suppose I am having one question. This is question number 1 and this is another question, question number 2. The only problem in these two questions is we have given only single dice, that is to find out the opposite of 6 maybe here. We are going to find out the opposite of 6 here, and for this question we need to find out the opposite of 1. Okay, these two are two different questions. Now the point is, we have already discussed some rule. We can apply one surface common, or maybe we can apply two surface common rule, right? But the problem is I cannot compare this dice. I am having only single dice. So whenever single dice is given there, we have nothing to compare. In this situation, you will always consider that dice as a standard dice, provided it should follow the rules of standard dice, which we can check out with the help of dice itself. Okay, let's focus on the line once again, student. Whenever single dice is given there in your question, you will always consider it as a standard dice. But there is one more important. Yes, Parichay, but this is when only one dice is given, okay? Because for single dice, if it is written that below given dice is standard dice, we will not see the dice itself. We know the opposite pair, right? So if there is a single dice given, so we will consider it as a standard dice, but we will check out the rules are applicable or not. So I am considering both the individual question as a standard dice. That's what I am thinking. But I need the check. First of all, I need the correct checking of the rules. So I know for standard dice, the opposite of 1 is 6. 6 is not at neighbor position. So this is all right for number 1. Now for number 2, I know that the opposite of 5 is not at the neighbor position. That's quite okay with this one. For 3, we have the opposite as 4. That's quite okay. So in this question, in first question, the rules of standard dice are already applicable. So we can, the assumption that this given dice is standard dice is absolutely perfect. Okay, now coming to the next question. This is again single dice. I thought in my mind that this dice, yes, Giridhar, we will come to that point also, okay. Coming to the next question, I thought that this is again a standard dice, okay. So I know that for a standard dice, the opposite of 1 is 6. But after thinking this, I can check out here that 6 and 1 are at the neighbor position. So definitely this is not a standard dice. This is not a standard dice. This is general dice, right? So if the question was to find out opposite of 1, we know that opposite of 1 cannot be 6. The opposite of 1 cannot be 5. The opposite of 1 can be either 2, maybe it is 3, or maybe it is 4. So the options are given in this manner, okay. The first option will be like this, the second option will be 2 or 5 or 4. So we know that 5 is at adjacent position for number 1. So it is not the correct answer. We are not confirmed for number 1, for number 5 and 6. But yes, we can answer our question in the form of either and or. Is this clear to everyone? Okay, I thought this is clear to everyone. Now the next point was, the very next point is, suppose we have only 2 dice given in our question. This is again one new point, student, I am telling you. Suppose we are having only 2 dice given, and the dice are like this: A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, the first A, B, C in the first dice, and the second one we have D, E, F. I am not having the third dice with which I can apply the rule of 1 surface common or the rule of 2 surface common. So although I am having 2 position of dice, but we are not having any common surface, so definitely the rule which we have already decided, we will consider 1 surface common rule or 2 surface common rule, is not at all applicable here. In this situation, what we will do, top to top, left to left, and right to right are the opposite pair, but this rule is applicable only when we are having only 2 dices and nothing is in common. If there is one more dice and I am having something common, if I compare 1 and 3, or if I compare second and third, I will apply 1 surface or 2 surface common rule. But this condition is applicable only when we are having only 2 dices and there is nothing in common. So top to top, left to left, and right to right will be our answer. Okay, so here is one last question of open dice. We'll discuss this. This is our last question, guys. So what happened in the question of open dice? Whenever we are having the question of open dice, our first basic work is to find out the opposite pair. Okay, finding opposite pair is the first rule. Whenever we will find out the opposite pair, we have the simple basic concept that opposite cannot be at the adjacent position. Okay, so what is the rule for finding the opposite pair for any open dice, right? Open dice is exactly that dice which you have seen maybe in Mahabharata, right? In hand of Shakuni. So that was open dice. Our dice which we have already used in indoor game Ludo is folded dice. So here is the perfect example. So for any open dice, for finding the opposite pair, there is very simple rule, student. We have either given one column or maybe there is one row. So for any particular column or row, alternate positions are the opposite of each other. That's the perfect rule for finding the opposite pair. That means if suppose in your question you have mentioned 6, then 3, then 2 and then 5 here, sorry, it is 4, right? Here it is 5, here it is 1. So as I told you that opposite are the alternate surface, right? Alternate surface are the opposite pair. So the opposite of 6 is 2, alternate pair. 6 and 2 are the opposite one. Opposite of 3 is 4. And opposite of 1 is definitely 5. These are the opposite pair. This is the perfect rule for any open dice. Now coming to the next point is, whenever we are having opposite pair and we are checking that the given dice are correct or not, so we can apply one simple rule that opposite cannot be at the adjacent position. That's a very simple rule, right? So we have answers even. If we check out the first one, student, if you can see here we have given 2, 4 and 6. So according to this question, we know that this 2 and 6 are opposite pairs, so definitely cannot be at the adjacent position. In dice number A, 2 and 6 and 4 are given. 2, 6 are opposite pairs, so being opposite cannot be the adjacent. So first one is wrong. In dice number B, you can see 5, 6 and 2. So if you notice, a student, once again 6 and 2 are opposite. So 6 and 2 cannot be at the adjacent position. That's why this is again cancelled out. In third one, if you check out, it is 2, 3 and 6. So 2 is here, 3 is here, 6 is once again here. 2 and 6 are opposite. Being opposite cannot be at the neighbor position. So this is again cancelled out. So the last one, 5, 3, 6 maybe is the right answer. So most of the students are correct even, because the opposite of 6 is 2, which is not at the neighbor position. Opposite of 5 is 1, which is not at the neighbor position, and the opposite of 3 is 4, which is not at the neighbor position. So the right answer is option D. Okay, so this was all about dice. We have discussed few question, few part of dice. Okay, this was the part 1. The rest we will discuss in the second part. Although we have not completed dice itself, we will discuss about some more question of open dice, and after that the combination of open and general dice. So students, see you there in the next class. Thank you so much for today's session. Bye and take care.